The Ultimate Husband. By Sky Kissing Wolf. Episode 33. Phoebe laughed and said, "Sure, you can afford it." She then moved toward Lily's side and said, "Sister Lily, tell me. Is it because this useless fella knew that Aunt Samantha introduced a boyfriend to you that he decided to secretly track you and wished to compensate for the breakup at the same time? Did you give him the money to buy the car?" Daryl almost laughed. Me asking for compensation from her? You would be the only one who would have thought of that. Lily could not stand it anymore, so she pulled Phoebe's hand slightly and said, "Stop saying that. He didn't ask money from me." Phoebe immediately spoke after Lily. "Why can't I speak? Even if he didn't ask any money from you, I still feel that it's unfair to you." With a face full of righteousness she carried on, looking down upon Daryl. "Hey! Daryl Darby, you really have your way. Prior to this, you wasted 3 years of Lily's wonderful life, and now after the breakup, you still cling unto her and refuse to let go. Are you still a man or what?" Daryl ignored her, smiled and looked at Charles. "At the beginning, I planned to buy the most expensive car from this place. However, an Audi car is not top-notch, but just right for a low-profile person like me. However, the service here sucks. It is so disappointing, so I have decided not to buy the car anymore." "Huh, you are one of a kind." Charles laughed widely as if he just heard the biggest joke, and said while pointing at Daryl, "Aunt Samantha told me that you are good at nothing. I think she underestimated you. At least your ability to brag is top-notch." While speaking, Charles started to tease him. "Buddy, to be honest, if I were you, I will not shame Lily here. I would have left long ago." Phoebe laughed with her face full of disgust. Then, Charles looked at the watch on his wrist. "I do not have time for nonsense. You need to leave immediately. Lily Bud and I still have important matters to discuss." Daryl gave a cold smile to Charles and said, "You don't have to chase me away. I will leave. It's just that I worry you might regret it after do so." In his briefcase, was the contract between Platinum Corporation and Audi Corporation. This Charles here did not have a clue who he was speaking to. "I'll regret it?" Charles lost his smile. "You definitely have a problem with your brain. If I were to regret, my whole family, including my parents and sisters, will address you as father, okay? Leave. Please leave immediately." "LF you say so." Daryl smiled and turned to walk quickly toward the exit. Charles spoke to impress Lily. "Lily Bud, the president of Platinum Corporation will be here very soon. Let's wait in the office." Charles grinned as he watched Daryl leave. Phoebe could not wait and asked, "Oh my, the president of Platinum Corporation. Is it the Platinum Corporation who have many big stars under them?" Judging by Charles's nod, Phoebe added, "Sister Lily, you have really met the right person. Look how wide Charles's network is. He even knows the president of Platinum Corporation." Her mind was full of Daryl at that moment. Charles felt proud seeing Phoebe's reaction and felt great satisfaction. He was also confident that by helping Lily to chase Daryl away, he would impress her. He was wrong. Lily said while feeling disturbed, "I am sorry. Elle just remembered that I needed to do something. I will not be meeting the president of Platinum Corporation with you. Let's do some next time." She left the main hall without waiting for a response from Charles or Phoebe. "Lily Bud?" Charles was stunned, looking at Lily leaving without hesitation. Outside of Audi 4S Center. "Daryl, wait up." Daryl heard Lily calling for him right after he stepped out from the showroom. Daryl stopped, turned and looked at her, looking indifferent. "Don't you and that manager Luke have something to do? Why did you come out?" Even though he knew that Lily was meeting Charles due to being pressured by Samantha, his heart still did not feel good. Lily said while biting her lips, "It's not what you think." After some hesitation she said, "I never planned to meet this Charles. It's just that he told me that he would introduce the president of the Platinum Corporation to me, hence I came. Hearing that, Darryl smiled with relief. Lily curiously asked, sounding concerned, "Where have you been for the past few days?" Darryl thought, and replied indifferently, "Nowhere. It's just that I found a job with meals and accommodation provided." Lily had a tingling sensation in her heart and asked immediately, "What kind of job?" Episode 34. At the same time, there was a sense of relief. It has been 3 years and he finally was motivated to progress. Darryl smiled calmly and said, "Just doing some business, normally for promotional purposes but also occasionally helping the company with procurements. Just now, I was there to help my boss look for a new car." Knowing that Lily might ask him further about buying a new car, Darryl explained to stop her from doing so. Lily nodded doubtfully and asked curiously, "What kind of company?" Darryl replied casually, "It's just a small company." In fact, Darryl was tempted to tell her the truth that he was the president of Platinum Corporation. However, after careful reconsideration, it was still not the best time, so he decided to continue hiding it from her. Understanding that Darryl did not want to talk more, Lily decided not to ask further. Her emotion was complicated as she pressed her lips and said, "Darryl, do you still refuse to come home?" Lily did not know what to think. Prior to this, when they were together, she felt disgusted, but now that they were separated, she missed him. Darryl exhaled deeply and said, "Another few more days, after I'm done, I'll come looking for you." "It's fine then." Lily nodded, thinking of something as she stared Darryl without blinking and asked, "The other day, why did you want to switch with me to be the hostage?" Darryl smiled and said, "That was because you are my wife." Hearing Darryl's word, Lily felt a sudden shiver. Deep down in her heart, she was touched, felt a slight tingle and a dash of shyness. The atmosphere turned awkward. At that moment, Lily's phone started to ring. Seeing the call was from the office, Lily immediately answered. She then turned to Darryl and said, "They've to go, you take good care of yourself." After saying that, Lily got into the car with slight sadness in her eyes. Audi 4S Center at the moment. Charles held back his heartache. After giving Phoebe some discounts, he asked the reception personnel to bring Phoebe to check out the cars. Then, Charles gathered a few front desk personnel, stood them neatly into 2 rows outside the showroom, awaiting for the arrival of the president of Platinum Corporation. However, 10 minutes yet no one appeared. "Why isn't he here yet?" Charles complained as he was a little impatient. And went back into the office, to call the secretary of the president of Platinum Corporation, Pearl Hahn. Charles spoke politely once the line connected. "Hello, Secretary Hahn. How are you? I am the representative from Audi, Charles Luke. This morning you informed me that your president is coming over today." On the other hand, Pearl's reaction was rather calm and said, "Yes, he left already." Charles was stunned and said, "Oh, he was here already? I didn't see him." He immediately asked, "May I know how your president was dressed? What car was he driving?" Pearl gave it a thought and said, "No suit. I think he was on his electric bike when he left." Electric bike? Hearing that, Charles was taken aback. At the same moment, Pearl's voice could be heard. "Our new president keeps a very low profile." Charles felt dizzy after hearing that. He replied thoughtfully, "That's fine. I understand now." Charles rushed out of the office after putting down the phone. Riding an electric bike, no suit. The useless man just now was Darryl Darby. The surname of the new president of Platinum Corporation was Darby. Oh shit. It could not be him, right? Charles yelled at the reception personnel in panic. "Hurry up, please call that man who was here earlier back here, no matter what it takes." The female receptionist that just chased Darryl away was confused. She thought she heard wrongly and asked, "Manager Luke, are you saying the toy boy?" Charles glared and scolded her, "What do you mean toy boy? Don't speak rubbish, go get him back quickly." He added, "Leave, if you are not able to bring him back. Juliana dared not ask further. She quickly joined the others rushing out from the showroom. She was confused as the guy looked like a poor man, but why ask him to come back? Episode 35. Few minutes later, Juliana found Daryl at a snack stall. Juliana was drenched in sweat when she appeared in front of Daryl. She said with confusion, "Mister, our manager Luke would like to invite you to return to the center." She did not understand why Charles wanted to desperately look for this person. Daryl was enjoying his meatball stick as he casually said, "Just before, all of you enjoyed chasing me out, right? Now you want to invite me back. Who do you think I am?" Juliana was very nervous and she almost cried. "Mister, I was wrong. My attitude was bad. If you don't go back there with me, I will lose my job." Juliana bit her lips tightly. Before, she looked down on Daryl, but now she was begging him. As she almost cried, Daryl replied, "Fine." Moments later, back at the Audi 4S Center, Juliana politely brought Daryl into the office. Charles walked toward Daryl with a big smile the moment he saw him. "Mr. Darby." Daryl sat elegantly on the sofa, glared at Charles and said, "Humans change really quickly, don't they? I finally experienced it today. Bastards like you flipped so quickly too. So, what is this about? Invited me back to humiliate me again?" Charles's facial emotion changed slightly as he held back his anger and replied cautiously, "That. Mr. Darby, are you here to discuss the collaboration?" Daryl did not immediately reply. He quietly took out the documents from his briefcase and threw it into the coffee table. Charles picked up the document and immediately read it. He was stunned. With a wide smile on his face that was full of sincerity and apologies, he said, "President Darby, look, before this I..." Without waiting for him to finish, Daryl waved his hand. "I don't buy this. When you asked me to leave just now, what did you say? You asked me to get out, and if you regret, you and your family will address me as..." Charles turned purple, as he forced an ugly smile on his face and said, "President Darby, I didn't know who you were." Seeing that Daryl did not reply, Charles swallowed his pride, took a bow and greeted. "Father." I thought the collaboration involved Audi Corporation sponsoring $100 million for the entertainment program of Platinum Corporation. The advertisement from these programs would bring an unimaginably huge benefit to Audi. One must know that Superstar was really a big hit program. As such, no matter how unwilling Charles was, he had to accept defeat, otherwise if he blew this collaboration, he would not be able to hold on to his position as the regional manager. Daryl was finally satisfied, nodded and said, "Yes, now this is sincere." At that moment, Phoebe, having completed her car purchase, walked in to happily say goodbye to Charles. However, before she could enter, she saw what had happened through the glass window and was shocked. Did she have a problem with her eyes? Was the person sitting on the sofa not the useless Daryl? And Charles was apologizing to him? Furthermore, did Charles just greet Daryl, "Father"? Did she hear wrongly? Charles felt so ashamed after he noticed Phoebe standing by the door. His face was all red. He wanted to bury himself in a hole. "Excuse me for a moment." "Wait." Daryl shook his hand and said, "I would love to remain low profile. I do not wish too many people knowing about my position. You should know what to say to her." "Yes, I understand." Charles was not stupid. He knew what Daryl meant immediately. His head was pounding. Once he was outside the office, Charles changed to his regular character as the regional manager, smiled toward Phoebe and asked, "All done?" "Yes, thank you." Phoebe smiled while looking at Daryl in the office. She asked casually, "What happened? Were you apologizing to him just now? Why is he back? Is he really here to buy a car?" "Oh, about that." Charles was in dilemma, so he casually replied after some thought, "How would he be able to afford a car? He said he lost something while at the center, so he came back looking for it. I was explaining to him. See? Phoebe asked further, a useless man like him will never lose something valuable. I guess he is here to cheat you. While speaking, Phoebe took out her cell phone. You are too kind. Shall Elle help you call the cops? For more episodes, please support my channel by hitting the subscribe button.